The truth is that before you start learning a new language, you need to understand the process of learning it. What changes happen in our brains when so? How to learn a new language and succeed without any frustration. Is it possible you are learning a new language without knowing how? Do you feel you are not making any progress in your learning? It is time to build a bilingual mindset. And that's what our next speaker is going to tell us about. Her name is Carla Gil. She lives in China, and she's a language teacher graduated from Instituto Pedagógico de Caracas with proficiency in all aspects of teaching, having more than 9 years of experience in teaching English and Spanish around the world to kids, teenagers, and adults at any level. All for dynamic lessons, as well as using ICT tools in support of quality language teaching and learning. Carla is also the creator of Bilingual Mindset, online language teaching. Carla, welcome, and thanks again for being here today.
Hi everybody. Valentina, that was beautiful. So can everybody hear me?
Yes.
And see me? Yeah?
We cannot see. No, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me know if you can see me and let me know if you can hear me so I can start.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let me quickly set my screen so we can start. All right. Okay, perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. So as Valentina said, I'm Carla Gil, professor of English, graduated from Instituto Pedagógico de Caracas and founder of Bilingual Mindset, English and Spanish teaching online. Thank you all for being here and giving me and yourselves the opportunity to grow and share knowledge about our passion, which is languages. So today we'll talk about how to build a bilingual mindset and succeed in our learning and cultural path. Let's take a deep breath first. We live in a time where being in a rush is a habit, where we think the more we can do, the more we can cross out from our to-do list, the more successful we're being. I'm sure right now some of you are thinking about what you're going to have for lunch or what you're going to do after this talk is over, or what tasks you have pending for the rest of the week, and so on. That's why before we do anything, I would like us to take a deep breath and just be present. It's proven, and also by experience, I can tell you that deep breathing helps you to decrease stress, increase calmness, increase energy and concentration, disengage from distracting thoughts and sensations, reduce anxiety, which is one of our obstacles when we're learning a language. So let's try and do it before we start so our brains can absorb new information more effectively. Now, I'd like everybody, even the event organizers, breathe in deeply through your nose for 5 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then breathe out through your mouth for 5 seconds. You can close your eyes if you want to. I will guide you. So let's start. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. hold, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 4, 5. That's what we're gonna do. So let's try one more time. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it one last time. Maybe some of you really needed it. So let's try again. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really hope that helped a little. I really hope you're present. So now we're ready to start. Nowadays, most people speak at least a second language. There are approximately 3.3 billion bilingual people worldwide, accounting for 43% of the population. People able to get better job opportunities, scholarships like Valentina, to travel and effectively communicate their ideas. We have a great deal of information at hand to learn any language we want to. We have bilingual schools, language institutes, private tutors, online learning platforms, thousands of language apps, and the list goes on. And yet, despite all these resources and usage, there is a great percentage of the world population who still struggle in learning just a second language. Supporting this fact with comments as, I'm not good at languages, learning a language is so difficult, I can understand it, but I can't speak it, I'm too old to learn a language, and many more. The truth is that before you start learning a language, you need to understand the process of learning it, how to learn a language, and how to succeed without any frustration. I want you to ask yourself if it's possible that you're learning the language without knowing how, if you feel you're not making any progress in your learning, if you feel stuck. If you feel that way, it's time to pay attention to this talk and build a bilingual mindset. Now, by the end of this presentation, you will have this post of language learning myths and misconceptions. You will have learned how to solve common language learning problems. You will have learned strategies to build a bilingual mindset. And you will be, hopefully, you will be super motivated to take action and start your bilingual mindset path. Now, I want to do this. I want us to do a quick survey on Kahoot. You will need to use your cell phones about language learning to analyze these results during our talk. All right, so I need you to use your phones. Give me a second to switch my screen. All right, perfect. Okay, so with your phones, you have two options. If you already have the app, you can just type the number, okay, the PIN number. If you don't have the app, you can scan this code and with your camera, okay, with your phone camera, and automatically it will open the website. So I will wait for some seconds. Let me turn down the volume. All right. So, or scan the code, or log in with the number. Let me check the chat if everybody. All right. Okay, we have Naz, Karen, Alejandro, Isabela, Ricardo, Mari. Eira o Eira. Nicolás, supongo que es Nicolás. Lace. Okay. Okay, I'll wait some seconds, maybe. We have more people, yeah. Oh, excellent. We have a lot of people here. Yeah, sure. Here's the code. Michelle, Samantha. Okay. So there are about 20 participants online. I think on site we have some too. There you have the QR. All right, Marilis. Oh, I'm excited. I love Kahoot. All right, Gabby. Julie. Dai, okay. Oh, Nair, it's okay. It will be just 5 minutes and then we continue with the presentation. You can answer in your head. If you cannot play with your phone, you can answer in your head. You can write down your answer. It's okay. You can write down your answer on a notebook because this is something we will analyze during our presentation. So you will still need to answer yourself these questions. So it's okay if you can't play. You will still see the questions on my screen, so no problem. Okay, so I think we might be ready. Let's see, we have 21. Yeah, we have 21 players and there are about 20 participants online. What about the ones on site? Are they ready? Okay, great. So let's start. All right, so you'll see the questions or you'll see the statements on my screen, okay? And on your phone, you will only see the options to answer, okay? So you need to focus on both, okay? On my screen and on your phone. All right, Luis was the last one. Let's start. Let's not waste time. Okay. Okay, this is just a test, all right? You can just answer whatever you want. Just check that you understand how to use Kahoot. So are you ready to learn full stop? There's no right or wrong if you're thinking. It seems some people are thinking if they're ready or not. I hope everybody's ready. Okay, I have 21 answers. All right, super excited. And thrilled. Okay, I like it. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, you will see on my screen the question or the statement, and then on your phones you will have only the colors. All right, the colors with the options. Okay, Nair, green one, thrilled. Excellent. All right, so your opinion and thoughts matter. Okay, so the following statements are comments we hear about when we're learning a language. We keep hearing these comments. In the end, they become a part of our process, a part of our learning process. So I want your honest opinion, okay? What do you think about these statements? You must live in a country where the language is spoken to fully learn it. Yes or no? All right. Jennifer says no. Okay, 21 answers. I think we need a couple of more, right? All right, I think some people are not answering, but it's okay. We can wait these 12 seconds and let's see your answers. So you must live in a country where the language is spoken to fully learn it. Yes or no? And all right, so 73% of you said no and 27% of you said yes. Great, I'm taking notes, so it's fine. We'll analyze all of these later on. Language learning is easier for children. Yes or no? Kevin says 100% true. Let's see. Jennifer's yes. I think, yeah, there are about 2 or 3 people who are not answering, and that's why the Kahoot keeps going. Please answer, everybody. Yes or no? All right, we have 21 answers. Now let's wait these 8 seconds to check. If you're having troubles with Kahoot, you can just close it and just take notes. All right, it's fine. All right, so 91%. Oh, interesting. 91% of you said yes. Okay, and 9% of you said no. All right, Maria, probably it's the service, the internet service. It's okay. Okay, next. Not everybody can learn a new language. It requires a special set of skills. This is usually when we hear like, yeah, I'm not good at languages, or not everybody's good at this, at learning English, for example. So you agree or you don't agree? Let's see. I want to see those 20 answers, if you agree or not. Okay, excellent. So, all right, you don't need special skills. That's 81%. Cool. And 19% agreed on it. All right. Grammar is the most important subject. What do you think? Of course, or I doubt it? All right, you don't need special skills. Thank you, Jennifer. I doubt it. Okay, Jennifer doubts it. I'll write that down. Okay, so 79% of you doubts it and 21% of you says yes, of course. All right, a new language can be fully learned in just a few months. Just a few months, you can learn any language you want. You can fully learn any language you want. Let's see. Of course, I doubt it. It depends on many factors. It's impossible, Carla. What are you talking about? All right, let's check the chat. Depends on many factors. Kevin and Jennifer, I doubt it. I need 3 answers. How many players do we have? I thought it was like 22 players. All right. Someone is not answering. All right, we can wait 12 seconds. I'm curious about this. Okay, so someone said, of course. All right, I doubt it. Yeah, some people in the chat also said, I doubt it, 17%. 70% said it depends on many factors and it's impossible. That's 9%. Okay, and on the chat, there's someone said, certainly. But of course, it depends on what fully means. Okay, Kevin, thank you. All right, now these next 2 questions are for you to look into yourself and answer honestly, all right? There's no right or wrong. Are you afraid of making mistakes when speaking your second language? You're always afraid, most of the time, or you're not afraid of anything? Afraid, scared, nervous. All right, so 18% always, most of the time, 55%, and I'm not afraid of anything. 27%. Nice, I'm not afraid of anything. Jennifer, sir, I'm not afraid of anything. Okay, Jennifer, that's nice that you're not afraid of anything. Okay, and the last one. Do you have goals in your language learning process? Definitely, I'm not sure. I hadn't thought about it. And not at all. Be honest. Everybody's answering so quickly. Okay, nice. Definitely 87%. Okay, and the rest is 4%. All right, I'm not sure. Okay, that was one person. I'm not sure. I hadn't thought about it and not at all. And in the chat, we have definitely. Jennifer, definitely. Okay, cool. So now I wrote everything down. okay? And we will analyze all these comments we keep hearing about. We will analyze all these myths, all right? So let me switch back to the presentation. Give me 1 second. All righty, and here we go. Okay, so thank you for answering. I really hope you liked the Kahoot survey. I love Kahoot. I always do things with Kahoot because it's awesome. So let's start analyzing some myths and misconceptions so we can understand and get rid of them. All right. The first one. You must live in a country where the target language is spoken. All right, so on that one, 27% of you said yes, and 73% of you said no. The truth is that you can find native speakers of most languages all over the world. There are many other ways to connect with speakers or find resources in the target language, right where you live. By the end of this presentation, I'll give you some resources. In fact, many people who move to foreign countries as adults never fully learn the local language. So living or studying abroad is really not guaranteed. So let me tell you about my language learning experience. I learned English in Venezuela. All my foundation was in Venezuela. I started in Centro Venezolano Americano when I was a teenager, and then I studied in the Instituto Pedagógico de Caracas. So in both places, I had great teachers and professors, and they guided me through my whole learning process. And all my English foundation was in Venezuela. Now, later on, I lived in Dominican, where they speak Spanish, but guess what? There I met English native people. We made friends, and I learned and I got to practice more. So again, you don't need to live in a country where that language is spoken. Then I lived in Jamaica, where I got to learn some British English, because before I was always exposed to American English. So in Jamaica, I learned some British English. I understood more things and expressions. I tried to learn more idioms and practice new things because it was something new for me. Then in Argentina, I also lived there. And there I taught English, and I was working for a company where most of teachers were native. So there I got a lot of fluency. I got to practice a lot, and it was Argentina where they speak Spanish. So yeah, and now I'm in China, and it's funny because I don't speak Chinese. Now I'm in China, and I learned Russian by living in China. So the country really doesn't matter. I learned Russian here because I was super exposed to Russian. I have Russian friends. I worked with Russians, and that's what I needed. I needed Russian to communicate. I needed, because most of them don't speak English or Spanish. So I had to learn it. And that's what I needed. That was my motivation, that we will talk about motivation later on. That was my motivation. That was my goal. I needed to communicate with my coworkers, with my friends, and with everybody around me, because I was just surrounded, and I am surrounded by Russians. So I needed it more than Chinese. So motivation, goals are important, okay? And it doesn't matter where you are, really. Let me check the chat. Awesome, nice, thank you. it doesn't matter where you are. So if you think that you need to go to the States or you need to go to England to learn English, it's not really necessary. Of course, it's a plus, but it's not really necessary. All right. Language learning is easier for children. You said 91% of you said yes, and 9% said no. So I'm very curious. Can someone type or can someone participate if you are on site? And can someone tell me why? Why is it easier for children? Because instead of just repeating that this is learning a language is easier for children, we need to ask ourselves why. Why is it easier for children? Can someone think about it and participate?
We have someone on site.
All right.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. I cannot hear you well. It's super low.
Yes.
All right, better.
This is for children because child,
I can't hear anything.
is it
I think it
hello?
maybe the connection. No, it's not the volume anymore. I think it's the connection is breaking. Maybe someone can type what he's saying. Thank you for participating. I want to know what you're saying.
Here I am again. Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, that's better.
Okay, yes. I think language learning is easier for children because when you're small, your process of learning is by exposure, by experiencing the language and imitating it. Yeah, which was the main subject, one of the topics discussed on the previous talk. But when you already have this wireframe of the language, of the first language you learned, which makes it more difficult to switch up when you're trying to learn a second language. I mean, if you're learning two languages from an early age, you'll master those two languages much more professionally than if you start learning them as an adult. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, so what he's saying, it's right. It's because of the exposure. He said the keyword. He mentioned this keyword, exposure. And here in the chat, they're saying they're not afraid to make mistakes. Kids are not self-conscious and they absorb the language by interacting with speakers. Renaldo is saying they learn by playing, laughing, doing specific things. So their learning is more significant. Super correct. So we need to consider immersion, exposure, input, and output. All right. So young second language learners may be exposed to their second language for many hours every day in the classroom, on the playground, or in front of the television. On the other hand, other learners like us, especially students in foreign language classrooms, receive far less exposure, perhaps only a few hours a week. Indeed, a typical foreign language student will have no more than a few hundred hours of exposure spread out over a number of years. So adult learners who are immigrants or minority language speakers, they often continue to use a language they already know in their daily tasks. And they may use the second language only in limited situations, only if they really need it. Yes, because they are afraid of adults. They are afraid of making mistakes. Maybe they feel, shy. They don't have enough exposure, and some other aspects that we will talk about later on. So my question is, what if we ask ourselves, what if I immerse myself in the language and culture is important, What if I expose myself? If I'm not afraid of speaking, of expressing my ideas, wouldn't it be easy for me as well? Because we say, yeah, children, it's way easier. But what if I try to learn like a child? What if I try to immerse completely, okay, immerse myself in the language? What if I look for a lot of input so I can have output? What if I expose myself to the language? Everything comes from within, guys. And we build ourselves barriers and obstacles to achieve goals. So my piece of advice, let's be like kids. Let's expose ourselves to the target language, and let's not be afraid of using it. Let's not be afraid of making mistakes, because that's why it's easier for children. So we can also make it easy. We can also make it easy. All right, let's continue. Learning a new language requires a unique set of skills. This one actually, I think you said, yeah, you agree, 19% of you agree, and you don't need special skills. 81% of you said you don't need special skills. So yeah, this is one of the most common misconceptions we keep hearing about. Like I said in the beginning, we tend to say things like, I'm not just good at languages. The truth is that everybody can learn a new language. In fact, some researchers believe that you use the same skills to learn a language that you use to learn other types of things. Most of these skills rely on two types of memory systems in the brain. Let's get technical for 1 second. Declarative and procedural memory. So declarative memory is used to learn things like facts and rules, and to memorize words and grammatical structures. For example, a student who's learning English, he learns how to add ed to build, to create the past tense. And procedural memory, on the other hand, is used for more automatic tasks, like riding a bike or speaking a language without thinking about it. So the good news is that we're all equipped with these basic learning abilities. We can all, if we want to, and if we're motivated, we can all learn how to sing. We can all train our voice to do so. We can learn how to play tennis with a lot of practice and learning all the rules and so on. We can learn dance movements if we want to. We can learn how to cook. We follow a recipe. So we can all learn a new language as well. That's for the ones who said no. Yes, you can. All right. Okay, grammar is the most important subject. You said 79% of you said I doubt it, and 21% of you said, of course. Well, this is a big myth. There are benefits, yes, there are benefits to learning grammar rules, but they don't have to be the main goal of language learning. So again, let's get technical for a second. Let me explain the concepts of implicit and explicit learning, how they fit into studying grammar, and how, if they meet halfway, it can be the key to success. So implicit learning happens when you learn something without realizing it. For example, while you're singing along your favorite song in your target language, you may incidentally pick up on some elements of pronunciation, or when watching a movie, you may learn some idioms and common expressions, right? So implicit learning is a fun way to learn language, and it can be very effective to help you to get this instinctual feel for the language and how it's used. Now, explicit learning, on the other hand, it's learning that you do on purpose, okay? You're very conscious about this learning, like studying verb conjugations or memorizing vocabulary using flashcards. So if you combine these two types of learning, your process will be much better. I mean, this combination will facilitate your process and you will succeed. All right. So in short, there are other aspects of the language as important as grammar. And if we combine them, we can succeed. Grammar is not the most important subject because I can learn how a sentence is structured. I can learn the tenses. I can know know about the conjugations and everything. But then when you want to communicate something, when you want to express an idea, maybe you don't have the vocabulary you need. Maybe you say something out of context because culture and culture awareness, it's important. So maybe you say something out of context. Maybe there's an expression you don't understand. There's an idiom you don't understand because idioms are not literal. So yeah, like for example, when pigs fly. If you only know grammar and someone tells you when pigs fly, what is this? What are you talking about? So grammar is important, but it's not the most important subject. All right, a new language can be learned in just a few months. I was very curious about your answer here. So for 4% of you said, of course, 17% of you said, I doubt it. 70% of you said it depends on many factors, and 9% of you said it's impossible. Very interesting. So under normal circumstances, most people cannot fully learn a language in a few months. Despite what some marketing campaigns, that's why my pictures, despite some marketing campaigns might try to sell. It's true that you can learn many new phrases, words, and concepts, and under great conditions, achieve a relatively high level of proficiency in a short period of time. However, for acquiring the complete system of a language and becoming a fluent speaker, you need years of intensive study and practice. And factors such as language similarity. It's different if I'm a native Spanish speaker, I'm learning Italian, than if I'm a native Spanish speaker and I'm learning Japanese or Chinese, completely different. Motivation, okay, motivation, it's really important, guys. And the time you spend learning, okay, the time you spend learning can influence how quickly you learn a language. So indeed, it depends on many factors, okay? And I wouldn't say it's impossible, but oh my God, you will need to really set a great time schedule, to learn and really immerse in the language so you can achieve it in just 3 months, like some marketing campaigns try to sell. Like in 3 months, you can speak English, advanced English. So be careful with those things. You need a lot of studying, you need a lot of effort, you need a lot of exposure, okay? Now that we analyzed and understood some misconceptions, some myths about learning a language, let's analyze some common problems we might encounter. These are the problems I see more often in my students and in students in general, okay? So most of these problems come from within, and it's mental work we need to do to tackle them. Not having enough input, focusing too much on the grammar, being afraid of making mistakes, we talk about it, not using learning time effectively, that there's a typo there, I'm sorry, and not having goals and or motivation. So not having enough input. Guys, you need to learn actively. To learn a language, you cannot try and learn passively, you know, like, yeah, I go to class once a week or twice a week. That's it. Or yeah, sometimes I listen to a podcast while I'm cleaning the house or while I'm doing the dishes. Nope. You need to be super active. You need to watch movies. You need to listen to music. You need to read the news every day. You need to practice your conversation. You need to practice with others. You need to try and find, if it's possible, try and find native speakers to practice with. You don't need to go to that country. There are apps for that. And later on, I will give you some. So you need to tackle this, okay? You cannot just sit and wait. Yeah, someone someday will come and speak my target language for me and I will learn. No, you need to look for that. Focusing too much on the grammar, we already talked about it. It's a mistake because there are other aspects of the language. There are other areas. You need vocabulary. You need to have cultural awareness. You need to know about. You need to background. Okay, it's not only grammar. Being afraid of making mistakes. I told you, let's be like kids, okay? Let's not be afraid of making mistakes. And especially this one comes from within. Like ourselves, we build barriers, obstacles, and then we stop speaking because we're afraid of making mistakes. You guys, you said, 55% of you said most of the time. So most of the time, you're afraid of making mistakes, but we're humans. We make mistakes. And if you're afraid of this, how are you going to correct that? Okay, you need to make mistakes so you can correct these mistakes. Okay, it's very important that you make them. You need to make them. So go ahead and make mistakes. You need it. Not using learning time effectively. This is super important. Well, everything I'm telling you, it's important, but this is super important because first you need a lot of exposure. So you need a lot of time to learn, to practice. But sometimes, even if we set ourselves like a schedule or we go to classes and we, try, sometimes we don't use that time effectively. Sometimes we are passive learners, like my example with the podcast. Yeah, I play a podcast, but in the meantime, I'm cleaning, I'm checking my baby, I'm talking, I'm answering emails, and you're not really listening to the podcast. You're not being present. I will talk about being present in a bit. It's important to be present. It's important to focus on what you're doing. Okay, so you need to set time, okay? You need to schedule some learning time and you need to actively use it. You need to really focus on your learning. And not having goals or motivation. Well, actually, I don't think this is a problem with you guys because 87% of you said definitely. Also in the chat, some of you said definitely. And only 4% said, I'm not sure, I hadn't thought about it, and not at all. So to those who answer, I'm not sure, I hadn't thought about it, it's super important that you have goals. Even if they are, small goals or short-term goals, you need to have them because that's going to be your motivation. Learning a second language, I know it can be challenging, okay? When starting out, it's important to have clear goals in mind. I hope you have yours, okay? And to that 4% who said no, I hope after this presentation, you go ahead and then think about it. And you need to establish a consistent study routine. All right, so immersing yourself in the language through reading, listening, and speaking, it's crucial for developing fluency. Finding a language exchange partner, or taking classes can also provide helpful guidance and support. It's also important to embrace mistakes, hug them, love them as part of the learning process, and to stay motivated. So you can celebrate, to stay motivated, you can celebrate your small achievements, okay? For example, at the end of this talk, you can celebrate you understood everything I said, or that you don't experience most of the problems I'm talking about here. So you can celebrate these small things and stay motivated. So with dedication and persistence, anyone can become proficient, fluent, which is everybody's goal, in a second language. And if I haven't convinced you yet, if you want more motivation, here you have some benefits. It can improve cognitive skills, okay, such as problem solving, multitasking, and memory retention. It can enhance communication abilities, allowing you to interact with people, many people and cultures, okay, around the world. It reduces the chances of Alzheimer's. It can increase job opportunities and earning potential in various fields such as business, education, healthcare, among others. And lastly, being bilingual can provide personal fulfillment and a sense of cultural identity. And these are just some benefits. I believe there are way more. So now we know, let's go point by point. We know that we need more input, that we need to focus not only on grammar, but all areas of the language. We know we need to do some mental work and stop being afraid of making mistakes. Embrace your mistakes, love them, hug them so you can correct them. We know we need to use learning time wisely and effectively, and we need to set goals and stay motivated and disciplined. Remember, if one day you don't have motivation, which is possible, it happens to everybody, that day you need to be disciplined. That day you need to say, okay, I'm not motivated, but I will try and study something. I will try and, I don't know, do this exercise online or whatever, something, because you need to stay disciplined. So now I'll give you more advice that to me is important to include in a language learning process. And I think some people, honestly, I think some people underestimate these points, but to me, they're super important. So first you need to understand your learning style. This is something that usually when I talk to my students, like on our first class, I ask them, do you know how you learn best? Do you know how do you like to study? No idea. I don't know. What are you talking about? So we need to understand our learning style. We have all heard people say that they cannot learn something, until they have seen it. They will fall into this category, okay? They will fall into the group called visual learners. Others, who may be called auditory learners, they seem to learn best by ear, by listening. For others, referred to as kinesthetic learners, physical action such as miming or role play seems to help the learning process. These are perceptually based learning styles. And verbal learners, we have many, verbal learners prefer to learn through language, spoken and written. So they typically enjoy reading and writing. They like to do activities like reading a book and taking notes. Okay, so these learners, they tend to benefit from mnemonic devices such as acronyms or rhymes, and to help them remember information. So, do you know which category you fall into? You can quickly, if you're online, you can quickly say yes or no in the chat. If you're not online, you just think about it. Do you know which category you fall into? Do you know which type of learner you are? It doesn't have to be one. It can be a mix. For example, I'm super visual and kinesthetic. So if I'm visual, for example, I would study with mind maps, pictures, watching videos, okay? I will study with those techniques, visual and auditory would say. Okay, thank you, Reynaldo. Reynaldo is visual and auditory. So once you know which is your learning style, you can find strategies, to study better. And it will be better. You won't waste time, because if I am visual and then maybe I study just with books, or I just try to read and read and read, nothing will happen. Nothing will, I won't absorb any information. So you're wasting your time if you don't know. Okay, someone else, Juliana, I'm visual and auditory too. Nice. I'm not auditory. If people just talk to me and I don't see anything, or if they try to tell me to do something, and they tell, okay, you're gonna do this, you're going to do that, and you put this here and you put this there, and they're only talking and talking. I don't understand anything. After they finish, I say, show me. That's a visual learner. When you need to see, you say, okay, now show me. That's a visual learner. So, Michelle, auditory and verbal. Okay, cool. So, excellent. If you know, then now you can get some tasks, okay, that can help you to improve your learning and not waste time. So important, understanding your learning style, so you don't waste time and you study effectively and reach your goal. Second, develop cultural awareness, okay? Cultural awareness is super essential, okay? It's a very important aspect of learning a language, and it involves understanding customs, beliefs, values of people who speak the language. By learning about the culture, you can understand and you can gain a deeper understanding of the language. By knowing the culture, you can understand the language, and it can help you to communicate more effectively, okay? And it can help you to avoid misunderstandings, because if you don't understand the culture, okay, you might say something that is not okay for them, all right? So you need to avoid misunderstandings and try to study them, all right? And additionally, being culturally aware can show respect, okay, for the people and their way of life, which can lead to more positive interactions and relationships. It can help you to, make more friends, more relationships, practice more. So you should make an effort to learn about the culture of your target language, and that way you can become more proficient, and you can become a better person, by respecting and having more empathy, being more empathetic. So super important. And at last but not least, practice mindfulness, all right? Again, I know learning a language can be challenging, but if you incorporate mindfulness practices into your language learning routine, it can make the process easier and more enjoyable, okay? So here you have five reasons why mindfulness is important to learn a language. I'm not crazy, I will tell you why. It improves focus. It can help you to be more focused and to have more concentration, which is essential to learn a language. By clearing your mind of distractions and focusing on the present, you can better absorb new information and improve retention of the language. It reduces stress. Learning a new language can be stressful, but practicing mindfulness can help reduce stress and anxiety. By being mindful of your thoughts and emotions, you can approach language learning with a calm and positive mind. It will be much better. Increases self-awareness. It can help you become more self-aware, which is important for language learning, by understanding your own learning style and preferences, like we were talking about. So if you understand your learning style, if you are self-aware of it, you can tailor, okay, your language learning approach to better cover your needs. You need to cover your needs. You need to focus on how you learn best. It improves communication, which is essential. So by being present and focused in your interactions with others, you can better understand and communicate in the language you're learning. And it enhances the learning experience. So it can help you to enhance your overall learning experience by approaching the language with a mindful and positive mindset. You can enjoy the process and make progress, okay, more easily. So I fully recommend this practice. That's why at the beginning of the presentation, I kindly ask you to breathe, because by breathing, by stopping, you need to stop and focus on what you're doing. So by breathing, by stopping, by being present, you will see the changes and you will learn more effectively, which is my goal, that you learn more effectively, that you become a better language learner. So I want to help you. Okay, I want to help you more. So here I created this infographic with suggestions, okay, with suggestions for you to start or improve your bilingual mindset journey. On this infographic, you have apps, okay, you have apps where you can practice with natives, where you can practice vocabulary, where you can practice conjugations. You have series I recommend, not just because I like them. I recommend this series to practice a language. Mostly it's English and Spanish. And also you have some movies for cultural awareness. So it doesn't matter your target language, it doesn't matter which language you're learning. These apps and most of these cultural awareness movies will help you, all right? I really hope you like it. The organizers, they will send it by email. So maybe tomorrow, I guess, when they're over, they will send them to you. Kevin, are you sending over those slides? Okay, answer already. Yes, I can send you the presentation, and this infographic, they already have it, so they will send it to your email. So if they don't have your email, if you're there on site and they don't have your email, you need to give it to them. Okay, so you can have this infographic. I hope you like it. I hope at least you use one app or watch one series or one movie, at least one. And that will be already a success for me. So now you have this post of language learning myths and misconceptions. You have learned how to solve common language learning problems. You have learned strategies to build a bilingual mindset. And I hope you are motivated to take action and start your bilingual mindset path. All right. Okay, someone sent the email. Okay, thank you. All right, so I strongly believe with mindfulness, empathy, and cultural awareness, we can achieve an effective communication and we can create a better world. It's not just learning grammar, is not just learning all the contents in a book, okay? It's way more than that. So I hope this presentation helped. I hope you've liked it. I'd like to thank you for your attention and for the opportunity to present this information. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, you can reach me out. My contact information is on the infographic, so you can directly write me. And now, if you have any comments or questions, I like it a lot. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Carla, thank you very much for being here with us. That was amazing. I'm sure we all here loved the presentation, all the tips you gave us. Do you have any question here for Carla? One more question. We're going to send you the infographic to the mails you left us. And well, I don't know, Carla, would you like to say anything else? We would like to see.
Oh,
we would like
I
just listening to your voice here on site.
yes, yeah, sure.
Bye.
I would like to say it because I was just in contact with the chat people. Oh, thank you so much for being there, really. I just want to say that I hope you liked the presentation, and more than liked, I hope that you really take this advice. I hope you really use these resources I'm giving you and this information.
Okay. Remember, you can follow Carla in Instagram at Bilingual Mindset. Okay, I think she mentioned it, but you can just look it up on Instagram and follow her. Thank you very much, Carla. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
We keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.